in today's sports world, people invent stats, right? There are a lot of stats that are like, well, I could have a stat too. Like, let's just make a stat for this game and that game and on Tuesday in January, right? Well, this stat from Steph last night is legit. It's a mouthful to say, but it's a legit stat. Steph ties Michael Jordan for 44 40-point plus games past the age of 30, right? And it looks like he's going to pass that on this road trip, the way things are going. And Friday night, this baseball series in San Antonio, I'm not going to lie, I was lit. It was Friday, and personally, I was content with the split after getting the game on Wednesday, so I didn't have a ton of expectations. And I think it was very clear, like 4 or 5 minutes into the game, the Warriors felt otherwise. They were dialed in and playing hard, and you could tell they wanted this one as well. And not just that, Steph looked like he had an extra pep in his step. He's coming off, the 46 points on Wednesday. He had even more pep in his step on this one. And I think that, one, he's probably feeling 100% healthy from the flu or whatever he had. And two, I couldn't help but think that this shoe deal news had him feeling good. Has this been weighing on him, right? Because we all understood, okay, he's been sick the last week or two, right? But he seemed just down, extra down, like something else was going on with him. And it was very early in the season for him to be this way. It wasn't like the dog days of January where everyone's waiting for the All-Star break. People were speculating Aisha, like this, that. Like, is it possible that it was this Under Armour negotiation weighing on him? And maybe the loyalty he's felt to them and leaving and whatever, but for whatever reason, Steph was in a great mood, had a pep in his step, and picked up right where he left off, attacking that double big lineup from San Antonio. Kerr goes with the same starters: Will Richard, Moses Moody, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, right? No Kuminga. He's got bilateral knee tendonitis. I have a 15-minute breakdown of this game. I'll put the link in the description. I'm not going to cover too much on here. I just wanted to tap in. I assume some of you Friday night might not have caught the game or wasn't paying as much attention, like in my mindset of like, oh, I'm probably going to lose this one, right? Well, you probably shouldn't have missed it. Anyway, no Kuminga, the knee tendonitis. Look, I don't like it, bro. I feel like I've been pretty objective here with Kuminga this season, as far as giving him his flowers, the way he's playing and suggesting maybe this, that, and what it is. I've tried to remain objective. I don't like it. He's 22, 23 years old. Everyone has jumper's knee that plays basketball. I don't like it. But he was out of the lineup and the chemistry was flowing. That's all I can say. I want to give a shout out to Will Richard, who only played 15 minutes, but got the start. And what do you have? 10 points, 2 steals in 15 minutes. Look, I'm not saying he's Andre Iguodala. He does a lot of Andre Iguodala type things, man. Like he is a really good basketball player, and it's exciting to hit on a 56 pick, but also what it does to our depth and trade chip possibilities, because Will is going to be a part of this moving forward. Like you can pen him in, right? Other thought was Al Horford continues to look better. He is a gifted shot blocker. He might have the best timing contesting shots, some of the best timing I've ever seen in my lifetime, right? But it was kind of a rock fight in that first half where it was like in the 40s, right? And then there was a lot of physicality and that both teams were playing hard. The shot making picked up towards the end of the second quarter, headed into the third, and then San Antonio tried to make their run. And, their youth, their athleticism, the physicality, Draymond picking up fouls. And I think the adjustment for Wemby is what I'm noticing. So everyone's putting these smaller guys on him. I'm talking not other true bigs. And the conventional wisdom is like, all right, well, let him catch it at the nail with his back to the basket and kind of get into his KD bag. And he's not successful with it. I think that with the smaller guys, if he catches it facing up and he takes a big, long step downhill, then he can kind of get up and get them off his hips. When he catches it at the nail, they get into his hips. And I thought they made somewhat of an adjustment with that. But the reality is Wemby gets the superstar whistle already. San Antonio got the favorable whistle last night. And the Warriors and Draymond, I think, did really well to not get too frustrated, not let that bother them, and played through it, right? But, the reality is they showed their inexperience in these 2 games down the stretch. And I'll greatly accept that. I'll greatly accept that at this point. But Mitch Johnson, listen, they just played 96 minutes against Steph Curry, right? It took till the 92nd minute for them to send 2 at him and basically force the ball out of his hands. And it's, in theory, I guess what they say is, okay, we've got Cornette and Wemby always in there, one of them in there. And so we don't want to really hard trap with them, but they're so big that they can show and recover. Well, it's funny because you hear these players around the league say, man, you got to adjust to playing against Wemby. He just does things that we've never seen. And he gets a shot off at different spots. You can't get your shot off when he's around, right? But Wemby, he still hasn't adjusted to Steph. He's got some Olympic experience against him, and I don't know how many times they've matched up, but there's certain stuff that Wemby does in pick and rolls when he's defending that he can get away with because he is an alien. He turns his back. He can do all these funky things that on most common players in the NBA, it works. Steph can still get his shot off, and not only can he get it off, as you saw, he was splashing on him, right? So down the stretch, I think it took them too long to send 2 at Steph, but again, greatly accepted. The way he was moving and attacking. And then for them and their execution, I understand De'Aaron Fox is one of the more prolific fourth quarter shooters in the last few years in the NBA. But for him to take those final 2 shots and Wemby not to touch the ball is just a horrifying decision. That's the value. Wemby can get a clean look, especially from behind the arc anytime he wants. So I thought that was a mistake. But yeah, man, Pods made a lot of big plays. He hit 2 big threes in that second half, took that charge. I think it was on Vassell or Castle there that gave us, he was huge. And I think I said it last video, okay, maybe he's not going to be a knockdown shooter that we were hoping for. Can he be a clutch shooter? And I think he's kind of getting back to being the super role player that we fell in love with. I know that the comments, Kerr said, guys aren't aware of their touch time with the ball when it came to the agenda talk and all that, right? And everyone was like, well, Kuminga, the touch time. Listen, I do the breakdowns of every game. I watch the tape over. Pods' touch time has been up too. So I don't think that just clears him from all that comments. But the last 2 of these San Antonio games, I think he's got back to doing what he does, taking charges, hitting big shots, just again, being the hustle role player that we need him to be. But yeah, man, what looked like the most daunting road trip of the season, the 6-game road trip, all of a sudden has a real possibility to be something that they, stick their flag in as far as moving forward in the season. Is that the right term? I don't know what to call it, but obviously you get throttled by the Thunder, but then you get these 2, right? Now they head to New Orleans Sunday where Willie Green has just been fired. Maybe a trap game. I will say historically, there's a honeymoon phase. When a coach gets fired that a team doesn't like, which is usually the case most of the time, right? They have a couple games where they all play really well and really hard because they're excited that the guy they didn't like is out of there. So that's a threat. Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney revenge game. That's all on the table Sunday in New Orleans. That said, you'd hope that the way we're playing right now, you beat this Pelicans team, no Zion, right? And then you head to Florida, where the Orlando Magic have maybe been the most disappointing team in the league so far when you consider their expectations. No Paolo Banchero. Okay, maybe you could get that one, right? And then the final game in Miami, this pace they're playing at, they're playing really well. I wouldn't expect them to get that. I think that final game, that's going to be a scheduled L. But if you can get these next 2 and you finish this road trip 4-2, I think everyone would have signed up for that. But more importantly, the mojo's back. The chef's feeling good, and we're playing a lot better. Y'all enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.